All right, Mike. I think I am slowly losing touch with reality. I think it's finally getting to me.
At this point, it's not even slowly anymore. I'm very swiftly hurtling towards Jack Torrance status.
I find myself being more goofy and forgetful.
I find myself drinking with ghosts and contemplating killing my wife with an axe. Not really. Not really. With at least not the axe part.
That was a movie reference, guys. Mike doesn't want to kill his...
It's just a movie. He's not being truthful.
Well, we hope everybody's okay.
But we got news for you guys. In this horrible age where everything is the same and you have to stay in the house, we have now come up with new merch for you to buy and wear around the house.
Yeah, we opened up a store on Teespring, so that way we can put a bunch of different designs up instead of order a bunch of one design that costs way too much money and not everybody would like. So
so we've got a variety now. We've got hoodies and t-shirts, and we've got 4 different designs. I was pushing for eye patches and thong underwear for men, but Mateo shot me down.
Oh, not me. If they had them, they'd be there.
No, it was Mateo. He shot me down. He said female thongs only, and I said no. I wasn't going to budge on it, and here we are. No underwear for sale. Sorry, guys.
Yep. No compromise on either side. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, them's the breaks. But we do have some sweet designs. So we're going to put this on our website, in the merch tab under donation. We've also got some other new stuff coming, but we're not going to talk about that yet. Just, pay attention to stuff that goes on that we do, and you'll see some new stuff pop up here and there.
Absolutely. It will all be fun. But yeah, like Mike said, go to the merch tab on our webpage, and that'll take you to our Teespring shop where you can buy Whatcast stuff if you're so moved to.
If you feel like, maybe buying a t-shirt isn't giving us enough money, then go be a patron as well and give us more of your hard-earned dollars, and then we will give you more Whatcast things like stickers and prints and boogers.
Ooh.
Yeah, every patron. Well, most of them don't know, but every
you guys
patron
don't know.
You don't know it, but every patron gets their own Whatcast DNA sample. Is it Mike's or Mateo's? You'll never know. What did it come from? Also, you'll never know.
Tucked snugly in the corner of every envelope I send is a small mucus-like sample from either Mike or myself. This is not true. We're just joking. But on a serious note.
We're not mailing you COVID through the mail.
No. I actually let everything I send you guys, all the patrons, I will let sit for 3 days before I send it after it's been all packaged up. So even if I do got corona, it's not going into the mail. It's going to die while it sits there. But with the Teespring stuff, we put it as cheap as possible. So if you guys want a Whatcast shirt, we kind of sold out of the first run. And like I said, not everybody wanted that design. So we're going to add more stuff as we go. Go check it out if you want a Whatcast t-shirt or a lederhosen or a
Mateo prop beard.
Ooh, holy shit, that'd be cool. Who knows how to knit? There, the music.
I can just picture the commercial for, hey kids, you want to be Mateo? And it just shows you sitting behind a computer smoking weed and drinking. And then the kid looks at the camera, what? And then just some creepy old guy barges through the door and sticks a big-ass beard on his face.
Yeah.
Then they show the next day, and the kid sitting behind a computer all pissed off, drinking and smoking.
Yep.
Drawing fucking tattoos on his arms and shit.
Do you want to be confused with a werewolf and a homeless man? Get your own Mateo beard. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about tonight is a UFO abduction type case that I've heard of before and I've seen before. But after doing a little bit of digging, I found a really great book on it, which I'll get into in a minute. But the story continued much further on than what I thought. And this is called the San Freddy Case, which is also the name of the book that I drew a lot of this information from. This book is written by Reno DiStefano, and I'll put a link in the description for the Amazon link for the hard copy, and I think the Kindle edition of the book is like $2.99. And just the photographic evidence from this case they have in this book and the artist depictions is worth $2.99 alone. On top of, I like how DiStefano writes. It's a good read, so definitely check it out. But like I said, what we're going to talk about is the Zanfretta case. And I don't know if you've heard of this one, Mike. Maybe when you hear the descriptions of some of the things, it'll jog your memory. But this takes place in Italy. This story is about a man named Piero Zanfretta. And he was a security guard in a fancy smancy village called Torghia. I'm going to try my best to get all these names right, guys. I'm sorry. Of course, I'm going to mess them up, and of course, I apologize in advance. But he was doing his normal patrol in his patrol car at 12 a.m. His patrol car died. Everything died. The engine died, the electrical died, and even his radio died. And at almost the same time, he noticed lights coming from a nearby home. Now, this kind of put our friend Zane, I'm going to call him Zan. That's just what I wrote in my notes, so I don't have to say Zanfretta 1,000 times. But
that's some solid thinking right there.
Yeah, this put Zan in Rambo mode because he knew that this property was unoccupied. Nobody lived in this house, so he took out his flashlight and his sidearm and he kind of made his way to the home. And as he approached the home, he noticed the front gate that blocks the driveway was open. So he kind of figured that there were some robbers trying to case the joint. As he approached the home, he noticed that the lights were coming from the backyard, so he kind of crept to the side of the fence or wall there that separated it from the other house and tried to creep his way back there so he can get the drop on whoever was back there. And halfway there, he said he was touched on his back, and he spun around to see, quote, an enormous, green, ugly, and frightful creature with an undulated skin no less than 10 feet tall. Now, he was even mindful enough to put in his report that as he spun around, as should be, the light wasn't on this thing's face. He had to put his flashlight up to see his face, and when he did that, it startled him enough to drop his flashlight. But he quickly grabbed his flashlight and turned around and noped it all the way to his fucking car. But
Dude, this reminds me very much of like some awesome 50s sci-fi monster. Like, it just like picture a rubber fleshy green bodysuit and they just put like hydraulic pumps in it to make it undulate, so it just all these weird bulges and everything, just the thing from the bog, and it comes out and takes away some fishermen at the beginning and then terrorizes some local community for the rest of the movie.
That's exactly the feeling I got when I looked at this thing. And I can't wait for you to see the artist depictions of it because you'll definitely see that in the depiction.
In my head, I'm just picturing an awesome movie poster. You know, maybe like angled up at the thing to make it look larger than life, like it's looming over you and it's lit from underneath.
You are literally describing what these things look like.
I gotta see what guys, I haven't even seen this yet. Like, this is the name sounds familiar, but I haven't seen the drawings of this thing, and I'm so glad that what I'm picturing in my head is what it is. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, with this description, like I'm saying, with the artist depictions, you'll get that feeling. It really looks like that. I kind of chuckled. They look really cool. I want a fucking tattoo of this fucking alien. But like a lot of cases, somebody will try to redraw it and kind of make it as real as they can. And they have a picture of that on the cover of this book. Instantly not cute and cool. Fucking terrifying. So I'll send you that picture too. So it instantly becomes not laughable, cool, rompy 50s movie alien. I'd probably shit my pants like this guy did, but
it becomes horrifying nightmare beast.
Especially if it's fucking 10 feet tall. But like I said, he took off towards his car after that. But about halfway there, he noticed a superbly bright light coming from the backyard now behind him. And once again, he turned around to see something that shouldn't be there. He saw a giant triangle-shaped craft slowly taking off with a hissing sound that also produced great heat. After he saw this, he continued to his car, and when he got to it, he noticed everything is working, so he radioed for help. This call came in at 12:15. It was answered by radio operator Carlo Tacalino. Now, this was 15 minutes later. I don't know if for you, Mike, him walking down the back of the house and not even making it to the backyard and getting touched by this alien and then running back, that doesn't sound like 15 minutes to me. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe he was puttering around the backyard a bit. Maybe he's got a big backyard. Maybe he had to climb a tree or a fence, or maybe the hill's really steep. That could be any number of things. I could putter around my backyard 15 minutes and not even realize it. And my backyard's not even all that big.
Okay.
It's, I mean, maybe he's looking at flowers. I don't fucking know. I'm not his biographer.
Maybe he's fucking trying to work up the nerve to go back there. Maybe he's shaking his boots. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, maybe he was like hiding in a bush. Like, holy fuck, blob monster's gonna eat my face. I gotta go hide in a bush so it doesn't get me. And then he's like, all right, coast is clear. It didn't follow me. He comes out. He's like, oh shit, it's a goddamn UFO.
Yeah, who knows? But this radio operator said that Zan was yelling, my God, they're ugly. And Carlo, the radio operator.
What an asshole. Meanwhile, he's crying. He's like, in our society, you're the ugly one.
My undulating skin is beautiful where I'm from.
I'm considered to have good complexion.
But he maybe jokingly replied to Zan, quote, are they human? Are they attacking you? And Zan just replied with, quote, no, they are not men. No, they are not men. And right then the radio died. Now this unnerved Carlo enough for him to make a call to the chief of the security company that they work for, which was a dude named Lieutenant Giovanni Casiba. He instructed Carlo to send out a search team to locate our good buddy Zan. But since Zan never gave his position, this took an hour. So at 1:15 a.m., two security officers, Walter Lorena and Ramindo Macia, found Zan passed out in front of his car. And as they approached Zan, Zan woke up and he sprang to his feet and he drew his service pistol on both of these guards. And they had to tackle him in order to gain control of the situation. But they both noted in a report that, one, they could clearly tell that Zan didn't recognize them in any way, even though they knew who he was. And they even stated that it appeared he didn't even know what they were saying, like he couldn't understand them. And two, despite being unconscious on the winter floor, this was December, for over an hour, he was warm to the touch. Now, these findings were enough for the security company to contact the Italian military police, who came to the village to investigate the next morning. What they found were two giant horseshoe-shaped indentations in the backyard of the house that were 9 feet in diameter. And they also discovered that 52 locals had reported a large triangle-shaped craft taking off at the same time that Zan said he saw his to the local authorities. Now, coincidentally, the commander for the Italian military police in this village where they were at was a longtime friend of Zan's, and his name was Antonio Nucci. And he would go on to state, quote, I can state with certainty that he is a clear-thinking man with no strange fantasies in his head. When we went to investigate the next day, he almost did not want to come. Only something exceptional could have frightened him so. So, right after this, the next day, the story hit the newspaper. Now, I kind of love the reaction that everybody has from this point on in the story. And like I said, when I first heard of this case, that's all I heard about it. It kind of ended here. Does this sound familiar at all? Have you heard of this case?
No, I don't. I think I'm just familiar with the name, but I don't think I've ever heard this case.
Okay, I love how everybody involved handles this from here on out. Just to avoid the security company looking stupid for a report like this, the head of the security company, got Zan to agree to go under hypnosis by this dude named Dr. Mararo Morietti, who was a psychotherapist and a member of the Italian Association of Medical Hypnosis. I thought that was kind of cool. Instead of just kind of try to let it die, the owner of this security company was like, well, maybe they believed in Zan so much they didn't want him to
or
look.
Maybe they had personal experiences of their own, and they're like, I'm not alone. Or maybe they knew more than they were letting on about.
Right. I just found it a very interesting move to have this guy hypnotized. But on December 23rd, they did just that. And what they discovered was Zan was abducted that night. And under hypnosis, he said they were, quote, monsters about 10 feet tall with hairy green skin, yellow triangular eyes with red veins that ran across their forehead. He said that they brought him to, quote, a hot and luminous place where he was interrogated and examined. Zan said the creatures came from, quote, the third galaxy, and they, quote, want to talk with us, and that they will soon return in larger numbers. They said he's also mentioned that they didn't speak Italian, but they used what he called a luminous device to translate what they were saying.
So were these different, or were this time they just weren't undulating, they were hairy instead?
No, from what I understand, this was the same creature that touched him when he was trying to check shit out at the house. Now, I'm going to send you a picture of this dude. I fucking love the art of this. Tell me if you would shit your pants if this thing touched you in the middle of the night.
Well, let's be clear. If anything touched me in the middle of the night, it would be pretty fucking scary.
Especially,
I've seen this picture before.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this picture, and that is absolutely horrifying.
It is, and like I was telling you, in that modernization of the depiction of this creature, you see how the side of his head kind of have those spikes?
Yeah.
In what I got to read, he doesn't describe them having those spikes. And I didn't get to read as much of this book as I wanted to, but in the modernization of this image, they included those, and it's fucking creepy. That thing is massive.
Yeah, I think this thing, for anyone who listened to the original episode of the Whatcast, episode 1, I talked about this book that I read as a kid that really got me into UFOs. And I believe that picture was in the book, because I distinctly remember that picture. But this case does not sound familiar to me at all.
Well, this case gets even better, because on December 26th, just 3 days after going through this hypnosis session, it happened again. Zan was driving inside the Bergagli tunnel when at 11:45...
Nice attempt, at least.
I guess. Thanks. When at 11:45, his patrol car started to drive itself. He even later stated that the car made a complete turn as it exited the tunnel, and the car responded to nothing he did. And I guess probably not wanting to sound like a total asshole for reporting a second strange occurrence, he calmly radioed into the command post and said that he was having difficulty with the car and he couldn't see well due to the very thick fog. And after a mile or so, the car came to a stop that was so abrupt that he slammed his face on the steering wheel. He then radioed in and said, "The car has stopped. I saw a bright light. Now I'm getting out." And that was it. Zan was found by Sergeant Emanuele Tarvanzoli in a nearby field next to the road where they spotted his patrol car. He reported that Zan's clothes and hair were warm and dry, even though he had just been laying on the ground in the rain. Zan was very scared and he was crying. And he said, quote, "They say I must leave with them. What about my children? I do not want to go. I don't want to go." The security company instantly contacted the Italian military police, who responded immediately. And their investigation discovered that Zan's car was dry and hot. They said that when they opened it, it was like opening an oven. And all around his car were disproportionately large footprints. As measured by the Italian military police, The tracks proved to be 20 inches long, 8 inches wide, with a distinct empty spot between the sole and the heel. Zan's .38 special also had been fired 5 times.
So he was definitely felt spooked about something, man.
Yeah, well, he doesn't remember firing his gun at anybody, and he was a little scared about that. He wanted to know who he fired his service weapon at. There were plenty of other people who spoke out for this Zan dude. There's a lot of people who agreed that something was going on, that he wouldn't be making this up, that he was a right dude. He said that he wished he didn't report this shit, but it was his job and he had to. So he was a straight and narrow dude. So he was a little upset that he had discharged his weapon and had no idea at whom. But to credit to everybody involved, the military police had sent reports about the incidents to the Italian Department of Interior and a couple other military commands back in December 8th and December 28th in 1978. Now, Nucci, his boss, didn't like leaving his homie out to dry. And as well as not knowing what to do about his friend being continually abducted by aliens, and now possible evidence of an unknown creature running around, I guess, he sent a report to the magistrate's court on January 3rd, 1979. That bounced around from desk to desk for a year until January of 1980. Nucci's report was delivered to Magistrate Russo, who just filed it away with the comment, "No crime committed," so it didn't seem like they were interested in investigating it any further. So the second encounter, understandably, attracted a lot more attention. And this dude saying that he's been abducted for a second time wasn't even the main cause. Zan's first encounter never really left the public eye, as in December of 1978, there were so many UFO sightings all over Italy that then socialist member of the Italian parliament, Falco Acame, asked both Italy's premier and Minister of Defense to come up with a plan of what they should do about these UFOs. Everybody involved decided to put Zan under hypnotic regression a second time with the same doctor, Dr. Morietti. And I like to chalk this up to good old Italian gusto, but they said, fuck it. And they put this regression session on live television.
Oh, man, that's kind of a dick move.
No, they're starting to receive scrutiny. And like I said, I like the attitude.
So it was Zanfretta said he wanted to do it on TV then.
Yeah, everybody
It wasn't
did.
like prove yourself to the public, asshole.
No.
Tell us what happened. Okay.
He wanted to do it. Everybody involved in it. And like I said, I love their response to this. This wasn't just a sweep this under the rug. They were kind of like, you think we're crazy? Look, motherfuckers, look, we'll do this on TV. And they did. But apparently this was so weird that the public started to look at them as a little bit crazy until a big time neurologist, a dude named Dr. Gianotti, I guess is his name. We'll go with that. He examined Zan. And he concluded that, quote, the man is in a state of shock, but he is perfectly sane. Others came to his defense, be it out of kindness or to crack a weird story. One was a popular Italian TV personality. He invited Zan on his show to be examined while on camera by Dr. Cesare Musatti, a famous psychologist called the father of Italian psychoanalysis. So the big man himself, I guess. But he said that Zan, quote, spoke in good faith, even if it was hard to differentiate objective facts from subjective experiences. So you take what you want from that.
To me, it sounds like he's saying he's not lying and he believes what he's saying. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
But what does that mean when other doctors are saying he's completely sane?
That something happened that he believes happened, but or he believes he knows what happened, but what really happened might not be the way that he recalls it. Maybe that doctor knows too much. Maybe that doctor's in on it. You know how like in movies they get the doctor to make the dude think he's crazy, but really he's on the right path. What if that was this guy?
Maybe he does kind of stick in the picture the whole time. But believe it or not, on July 30th, 1979, good old Zan disappeared again.
What? So how many times is this now? 4?
3.
3. Wow. But four encounters though, right?
No.
He's had 4 encounters, but no. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, but they took him 3 times.
Yes.
Wow.
Guards found him after being missing for 2 hours on the top of a place called Mount Facé. There's only one road up that hill, and the other guards patrolled it many times within the 2 hours, and they never said they saw Zan, only when they found him. Now, after this encounter got out, Zan thought no one would believe him now. So he went to what he knew would help. Another session of hypnotic regression.
Man, this guy's like becoming addicted to hypnosis.
Maybe, and that might mean something.
Just hook me up, Doc. Just hook me up. Give me the good stuff. Oh, he's got the watch this time. Oh, shit.
Tell me about when I was a boy. Tell me about my first dog. Tell me if my dad hid me. I need to know. Okay, this time they went to the International Center of Medical and Psychological Hypnosis. And when they got there, good old Zan decided to double the fuck down. And on his own request, he was injected with sodium pentothal by Professor Marco.
Yeah, but isn't sodium pentothal bullshit?
I don't know, and I wanted to talk to you about that. It's, for anybody who doesn't know, sodium pentothal is truth serum. That's something that you've seen in James Bond and shit like that, to where they inject to somebody they're interrogating and it's supposed to make them drunk and all this shit to make them tell the truth. This Professor Marco Marchezian, said at this demonstration, quote, "No human being can knowingly lie when he is under pentothal treatment." So I think it's very probable Zan had these encounters. Now, I've, like I said, we've all seen it in movies. I remember, I was a kid, but somebody asked my dad, they're watching a movie and they asked if that was real, if sodium pentothal was real. And my dad replied, yes, it does, but I don't know if it works to the degree that the movies show. From what I understand, it's like a bunch of muscle relaxers, a bunch of shit that makes you feel real drunk, and it gets your lips loose. So I don't know how much stock I put in sodium pentothal. How about you? Is that just like a fucking Bond movie?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like they're getting you fucked up and loose, and that's about it. Maybe you'd be more likely to, you'd be more open to suggestion, maybe.
Dude, what if that was like the
maybe
ultimate...
it's like a charm spell in D&D.
Yeah, but exactly. But chemically, wouldn't that be the fucking craziest shit if sodium pentothal was just the perfect mixture of THC and other cannabinoids and fucking alcohol and heroin and fucking Vicodin and all this shit that just gets you super comfortable? And I mean, like, I'm sure you've been to the point of drunkenness to where you just, you're talking out of your ass. You'll answer anything 100% honestly. What if it's just like the ultimate buzz that gets you the
you
human
just get
body?
Really, you're like, you know what? I would like some more of that, please. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Hook it up.
No, but what if they've engineered it to get you to that comfortable level to where you can do nothing but just tell the truth? You're just forthcoming and honest.
I think that's what it is. I think it is possible to lie with it, but I think you're just more susceptible to or you're more open to suggestion, I think.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's designed to get the truth out of you, but that has to be a byproduct, right, of something that does that. Suggestibility, if you're in that altered state.
Yeah, I don't think it's guaranteed. And I think, like, if you were aware of the effects of it, that you'd be able to, kind of prepare your mind for it mentally. Be like, no, you must tell the story the way it happened. I don't know. I've never taken it, so I can't, I can't speak on it and from that point of view. But I don't know. I always thought it was bullshit.
If that shit was readily available, I would definitely try it on myself.
Show me if you work. I will do it.
That'd be hilarious. I just take it and look in the mirror and go, "Yep, you're dumb."
You record it and put it on YouTube. That's the one that gets noticed. All the other videos be damned. Mateo talking truth to himself in the mirror. That's the one that does it.
Man takes sodium pentothal and discovers he's actually dumb.
Oh God.
So yeah, but in this second televised session of hypnotic regression, which is my new techno band's name, don't take it, Zan backed up everything that he had said before, and he went on to explain that in the most recent encounter, he was lifted from the ground into an alien spaceship by mysterious green lights. Now, we know Zan's had a real exciting time so far, making new friends, getting hooked on hypnosis. But at 10:30, Sunday, December 2nd, 1979, Zan disappeared again, the asshole. While looking for him, 4 patrol guards clearly saw a very large UFO in the sky. Apparently, there was a large cloud next to it, and 2 lights came down and aimed itself directly at these security guards. While they're in their cars, the engines of these 2 cars stopped dead. They got out of their vehicles terrified. They reported that only one of them, a dude named Lieutenant Kasiba, reacted and fired his gun at the UFO. And when he did, the lights on the craft turned off and the cloud and the UFO moved away. Unfortunately, it's reported that one of those guards, Germano Zandari, was so shook by what he saw that he really never recovered. Killed himself a few months later.
Wow. Can you imagine having your worldview altered that much?
Yeah.
That you just can't, like, you that's like Lovecraftian shit. Like, you're just like, nope, can't deal with reality anymore. Fuck this. Done.
I have a harder time understanding how fragile of a mind that guy must have had for that to make him kill himself and not be able to cope with that. I mean, if it was a UFO, sure. I mean, if you saw like fucking Astaroth cult from the sky with tentacles and fucking teeth and dripping shit, maybe I'd shoot myself in the head then. But
well, I mean, some people's just have such a closed worldview.
Yeah.
That you see something that couldn't possibly be real in your world, and then you witness it. You're like, no, this was never real. And now here it is right in front of me. If this is real, then what else is real?
Absolutely. You know? That could have been his worst fucking nightmare, aliens. I mean, that could have been like a flying fucking shark with hands and knives for me.
Yeah. It just sharks with a hunger only for people named Mateo.
Yeah.
And that's what this UFO was to him.
Absolutely. Just like every time somebody takes their own life, the saddest thing is that they think that's the only option. So it's double sad for this guy. You know, he could have been super religious and that just went against everything he believed in, or...
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
Yeah, who knows?
Because then, maybe then you start questioning your faith because you see this impossible thing. And then you're like, well, this thing is impossible. And then maybe he started going down the ancient aliens rabbit hole. And he's like, oh my God, it's all aliens. Every goddamn thing is aliens. I mean, that's, if you had to unwillingly live the life of Giorgio Tsoukalos, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Well, the next day, on Monday, December 3rd, Zan went right back to the hypnotist and was hypnotized again. And
see, I told you, this guy is addicted to hypnosis.
Maybe he's getting something from that state, from being there. But, I mean, they're getting information out of him either way. But they soon found out that good old Zan had been abducted even more times than previously thought. He spoke about how one evening while at a self-service gas station, he heard someone calling him from the shadows. He said that he was helpless to resist obeying this voice, so he walked to it. The voice ordered him to drive into a small cloud that had formed like a fog, and again he obeyed. He was then transported via cloud to a large spaceship where he met the person who was speaking to him at the gas station. Zan went on to describe a taller man with a bald, egg-shaped head, dressed in a checkerboard suit that included something made of steel in place of a shirt. While walking around with these aliens, he saw transparent cylinders filled with a strange blue liquid. He said one contained a frog-shaped body that the aliens called, quote, an enemy of ours from another planet, and 2 more were preserved, a big bird and a human looking like that of a caveman. At some point during this hypnosis, Zan said, quote, "Where have you been? What do you want to do in Spain? Why?" But altogether, that would scare people. He said that they tried to give him an object. He described it as a transparent sphere with a pyramid inside. Something like jumping sparks were discharged from the pyramid's center towards the inside of that of the sphere. I just, the way they wrote it's hard to describe, but the alien said it was possible to understand who they were and how they live by using this device. Zan said he did not want to take the object, but they insisted and told him that he was supposed to give it to a man with a name he had never heard of before.
This whole thing seems kind of like Indrid Cold almost. Like, I don't know, just him being called from the shadows, and it's like, hey, come with me, and then he just hops on board and they go cruising around, and now he wants to give him secret devices and telling him to meet some guy with a name he's never heard of, and I don't know. It sounds like that sort of story.
That's a cool point you're making, man. It definitely does sound like some other species of aliens try to follow the same code or operation manual for coming in contact with people. I mean, it's weird that it's a bald, egg-shaped headed, normal-looking dude and not this 10-foot tall, undulating green alien dude. But
yeah, like maybe they were able to kind of like read his emotions when they saw him. They're like, oh man, this is unsettling. Let's see what we can come up with. Or maybe they just have someone else on board the craft that's like, hey, you go get Greg. He looks the most human out of all of them. They're like, Greg, come on. He's like, oh, again? Come on, guys. Come on, Greg. Go talk to him.
You're the only one that looks like a human a little.
But I got this big egg-shaped head. He'll know I'm not human. Yeah, but at least you don't have undulating green skin.
I'm fucking 12 feet tall.
I got spikes growing out of my head. I have triangle eyes. Come on. Greg puts down his ladle because he's the cook on ship. Fine.
Do I have a fucking choice, you pricks? God.
Every fucking time. Stop abducting humans. Why don't you go abduct big 10-foot tall green guys, huh? No, it's always got to be humans, and Greg the Egghead has to go talk to him. Guys, I'm just trying to make pancakes. You guys are being real dicks right now.
Greg the Egghead. Okay. All right, well, I'd love to say that's the end of the story. I wouldn't love to say that's the end of the story, so I'm not gonna. In February 14th.
Keep on going. I'm holding up a lighter right now. I'm not ready for Freebird yet. Keep it going.
Good, because on February 14th, 1980, Zan disappeared again. But this time...
Oh, that son of a bitch.
This kooky bastard. This time he managed to stay in constant radio contact with a command post and was found a lot sooner than any other cases. A nearby villager said that right before the rescue team or search team arrived, they had witnessed a giant football balloon-shaped UFO take off from the area. And you bet your purple nipples, Dr. Moriarty hypnotized Zan again. But this time Zan started to speak in a strange language. Now I'm going to read a sample of what he said with some cool sound effects. Chisuna sinaria isighi isitalgo iti isanau exali sinisha. And that's
you sound like Jabba the Hutt.
Exactly. That's exactly what it sounded like. But
I hope that's who's behind this whole thing. I hope that Jabba just has these tall green guys and Greg the Egghead, and really just somewhere Jabba's just sitting up there.
This doctor looks at Zan and goes, "Do you owe somebody some fucking money?"
The frog thing that they saw was really Salacious Crumb. He finally got on Jabba's bad side, and he just threw him in this fucking vat and left him there. The Rancor's lurking around somewhere.
Zan done fucked up. Lost a bet on the wrong planet.
He did. You don't fuck with Jabba.
Yeah. As Jabba the Hutt as that sounded, that's actually what they wrote down is what he said. But the doctor quickly lost control of the session, and Zan said that he was talking to the aliens. Then they said his voice changed, got deeper and guttural, and he said, quote, "You can't work out anything in a case like this. To believe or not to believe doesn't mean anything. Each thing in its own time. 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 Time." So that produced a lot.
I hope it really did fade out like that.
Me too. But that produced a lot of information, this hypnosis. But what are you thinking so far, Mike?
I love this story, and I want it to be a movie.
Me too. And we will actually get to that because it doesn't end there.
Man, this is like the gift that keeps on giving.
I guess on my notes, instead of abduction number 5, I wrote, "I don't care anymore." On August 13th, 1980, Zane, while under, I don't understand this, man. It says here that he was under close 24-hour observation, disappeared again, but for the last time. And it says, I didn't get to finish the end of the book, that he was, quote, recovered before he made contact with the aliens. In his last hypnotic regression session proved to be more chaotic than the last one, as Zane was, quote, out of control and wouldn't answer any questions. He kept just saying, quote, "question with negative answer, Tixel." And he just repeated that so much and so many times for so long, they just fucking gave up.
Tixel?
Tixel. Question with negative answer, Tixel. Question with negative answer, Tixel.
Oh, like it's a name.
Yes, but
Gotcha.
They wrote it in lowercase, so it could be alien for bitch or who knows. But he was never...
I hope that is the case, and it's Space Freddy now.
But he never was abducted again. He never was contacted by aliens again. There was a movie being made about him.
What?
Yes.
There was an actual movie being made about him.
Yeah, the author of this wrote this article, which I'll include in the show notes. It's a great read. I love the way this guy writes. So definitely go check it out. Like I said, I think the Kindle fucking version of his book's $2.99. So grab it if you guys want to check it out. They have photographs of these footprints that were found around the car. I didn't even get a chance to fucking look. I had to cram so hard for this with such little time. We'll look to see if this or any of these hypnotic regression sessions were on YouTube to see what we think about this dude's cadences and how he's acting. We've talked about hypnosis a lot, and I find it very interesting. And I don't know if I believe in it or not, but he that was it. That was the end of good old Zane's wacky adventures with the 10-foot tall, star-headed, green, undulating, red-veined, triangle-eyed alien men. But there was a movie that was going to be made about it. Like I said, that fell through. The author talked about how there was somebody who wanted to make a movie of his book, and they had a good percentage of ownership that was going to happen with the movie, but the studio took a bigger percentage over creative rights, which he wasn't willing to budge on. They had bottom line say in what was going to happen in the film. So that fell through. He said he actually tried to work on it with him for the whole time that his contract he had with him was valid until it expired. So that fell through as well. And he said that Zane, which somebody who he still talked to, was upset about that. This author was actually on one of the search parties for Zane when he went missing. So if this case interested you, again, check this book out. But it started off very interesting for me, and it's awesome to hear. Not awesome. He talks a lot about how he hated it, and again, he wished he didn't have to report these things, but he felt it was his duty as it was part of his job. But it's interesting to hear somebody getting abducted so many times, but it was just such a high number that I was like, holy shit, you got to be kidding me. When is this going to end? I've got like 12 pages of this guy just getting abducted all the time. Poor guy.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting when you've got these people that are so outspoken about what happened to them, but they take no joy in it. You know, they're putting the information out there because they feel like people should know about it, but they're well aware of the reputation that they're going to get from normal people. I mean, hearing about a person talking about getting abducted so many times, and But he wanted, I mean, this guy was clearly willing to go out there and put his name on the line and do things on live TV and be hypnotized 10 gajillion times. It makes you wonder, like, what's the motivating factor there? Because it doesn't sound like this guy was making money off of it.
No, and it seemed like he kind of kept doing all those things to defend his reputation and himself. And it was interesting to see, I mean, the security company he worked for step in and suggest the hypnosis in the first place, just to get to the bottom of it. I love that they just did not leave him out to dry, let him look like an idiot. They kept at it. You'd think working with the military police and sending the reports that they took on the situation to other military branches, that nobody was telling him to shut up or try to keep it quiet. I mean, this is 78. This is when they're supposed to be wrapping all that shit up, right? After the 50s and 60s, that shit kind of disappeared.
Well, in our country anyway.
Yeah, in our country anyway. It was interesting to hear that there was so many UFO cases going on that they had somebody had to request that somebody to do something about it. And another interesting thing I came across that's mentioned in this book is that when Zane mentioned something about doing something in Spain, he had his abduction, then there was a day, and then the next day he went and got hypnotized. And he said that shit about Spain. And the author of the book did some research, and in that day in between the abduction and the hypnosis session, there was a doctor in Spain who saw a UFO that came so close to him that he crashed off the side of the road. So they kind of, linked that to that, or maybe that was some type of connection somehow, but I don't know. It is redundant as getting abducted by aliens. God, it's sure to get more interesting. What do you think about the degrading of his hypnotized mind? I mean, just starting to speak in weird languages. Do you think it's getting more severe, or he's losing touch? What do you think's happening there?
Or maybe these beings were aware of that he would be hypnotized. Gotta hypnotize that motherfucker. They knew that he was getting hypnotized, and they were able to broadcast messages through it, like channeling. Because if you think about channeling, when the person goes into a channeling state, they get it's like a type of meditation, and they get into a certain mental state in order to be able to receive the information. So what if that's more like kind of like a self-hypnosis? You get your mind in that state, and then because you're there, you're more receptive to messages. So these beings, whoever they are, whether they've had previous experience with you or they're just looking for someone to take the message, they're aware of this mind state, and they're able to broadcast messages through that, or hijack the body, so to speak, because the mind is relaxed and open, so they're able to get in and control the body and make it talk and get the message out there. Because when you hear about channelers or even some mediums, you often hear that the voice changes when they're giving the messages out. So I would be interested to know if his voice changed or if he was just speaking gibberish.
They said his voice dropped, the tone dropped and got guttural, so I guess you can say that changed, but I know what you mean.
Or maybe he was possessed by demons.
Who knows? There's some people who would say that. There's some people who would say that aliens are demons.
Maybe they are. Maybe they're jinn.
That's a pretty crazy case, though, dude, and I really wish they would make that a movie. That would be fucking awesome. I want to see that giant 10-foot tall green dude CGI'd all chunky and undulating, make a huge, deep old guttural roar. Have that dude shit his pants.
Just like that. Perfect.
Have that dude shit his pants and take off. All right, let's cast the movie. Got to put the dude who plays Kane as the alien, right? That's the closest we're getting.
Mayor Glenn.
Yeah, Mayor Glenn.
He did play a killer in 2 horror movies. So
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
there's that. So yeah, Mayor Glenn is the alien monster. Okay.
My first suggestion, and it's a hard one. My first, or Zan, is Billy Zane.
Ooh, I could get behind that.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of the name either. I feel like he was underrated. And where the fuck is he now?
Dude.
You remember how awesome Demon Knight was?
Dude, I can't believe you just said that. I was just watching a clip of that. I don't know if he's over the top. I think he's that fucking good. I think that...
Yeah, yeah. I think he played it perfectly.
Me too. I thought it was great. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I've always liked him. I was a big fan of The Phantom growing up, the comic book.
I was going to say I never watched The Phantom.
What? You should. You know, Bruce Campbell actually tested for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I read about that in the book.
I'm glad that Billy Zane got it, though. He's terribly underrated and underutilized actor.
He was in Twin Peaks, too.
Yep. Titanic? Come on, guys. Come on. Okay.
I never saw Titanic.
Holy shit.
I talked about it on the show when we did the Titanic show.
Did
Remember
you?
I made a pact?
God.
Young 16-year-old Mike vowed that he would never watch it, and to this day, he has never watched it.
Good Lord. Yeah, this case kind of made me sad about having to deal with something that terrible so many times. You think about Travis Walton and that terrible thing he went through. Imagine that 6 times.
Well, who knows? Maybe they were partying the whole time. Maybe they're just having a blast. Like, you can't tell anybody about our cool parties.
Yeah, the aliens come back to him 38 years later, and they're like, you fucking crybaby. Here, stick some device on his head. They're like, this is what we're doing. They're just doing blow off different species of alien strippers and shit. Driving around other planets.
Way to be a narc. Fucking narc.
Driving around other planets, throwing empty vodka bottles at people's houses while they cower in their living rooms.
Yeah.
Goddamn earthling drunkards.
Did you ever watch the episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force with the blue aliens? They're like frat boys. And the one just keeps saying, my dad owns a dealership. That's what these guys are.
Absolutely. I remember that one. Do you remember 1 in 3 chances?
1 in 3 chances?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
The soda cup contest. 1 in 3
chances
of getting your dick chopped off.
Yep, I do remember that. Oh, fuck. I love that show.
Yep. The good old days. That's one thing I refuse to watch, and I don't give a fuck when anybody says. I will not watch Rick and Morty. I won't.
What?
I fucking
it's
won't.
so fucking good. It is so fucking good.
I'm sure it is. But people fucking jock that shit so hard and put it everywhere so much that I don't give a fuck. I won't ever watch that shit.
I understand. And because a lot of times the hype will ruin it anyway. There have been so many movies that I've seen that I've just been so disappointed because of the fucking hype. And I was fortunate enough that I watched it fairly early on. And you know, not to be like a hipster douche, like, I was watching it, but you know, it was before it got like super hyped and was everywhere. And so it didn't really ruin my enjoyment of it. Once it did, it's like, oh, cool, new episodes now. That's fantastic.
No, yeah. That's the natural order of things. You find something, you enjoy it. When it gets successful, you're happy for the creators, and that's totally cool. But when people start fucking putting pictures of weed grinders and people redrawing it with them wearing gold chains and fucking all this stupid shit, that I don't know, man. It's just too much. That's something I noticed at Comic-Con. There's a bunch of, I don't want to be talking shit or ill of anybody because, again, I can't draw. These people are actual artists, but there's some people who will just like redraw a Disney character as different things, and that's their shtick. That's what they're doing. It's a little weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah. Why the fuck are we talking about this? Goodbye, guys. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. What the fuck are we talking about?
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.